In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. What is Tuesday? You know what day it is. It's Tuesday at 7. Welcome to another edition of JAKQ Brothers Presents. Let us make man. I am your moderator for tonight. My name is Brother Jackie Muhammad, and we have a hot show for you tonight. We asking you to tune in, share, like, subscribe. We want you to be a part of this living room conversation. We have a special guest tonight, but before we get to our special guest, I want to introduce some hardworking brothers who has been in the foxhole with me for the last couple of years, and I've been in there with them, and it's been an honor and a privilege to be with these brothers. So first, let me introduce the hardest working man in show business. He's a Renaissance man. He's known all over the world, from here to Africa. His passport has been stamped several times. So I want to introduce our brother and your brother, Brother Ahmed.
Yes. Thank you all. In the name of Allah, beneficent, the merciful. We thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us this evening. My name is Brother Ahmed. Thank you all for joining on. Back to you, Jackie.
Yes, sir. I'll take it. And this next brother we're going to introduce. It's a hardworking brother as well. You know, he's a family man, and he's doing his thing out here in this world. He's trying to make himself known. So I would like to introduce our brother Kawi.
Assalamu alaikum, top soldiers.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the JAKQ Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man. I'm super excited about our guest tonight. Super excited. I can't say enough about this brother. And once again, thank y'all for tuning in and supporting the JAKQ Brothers podcast. Super excited. And so I got a couple of announcements to make. I first like to thank you, each and every one of you, for supporting the JAKQ Brothers each and every week. We can't thank you enough. Words, we just cannot find the words to say for the support you've given us over the last year and a half, almost 2 years. All praise due to Allah. And for those of you that have supported the JAKQ Brothers platform financially, thank you. I mean, that's how we do it in the South. We triple thank you. Now, the JAKQ Brothers have some initiatives that we are really pushing hard. We have a prison ministry initiative. We are actually trying to get the Final Call newspaper behind the bars of the prisons, not only in the South, but anywhere in this country. We're trying to get the Final Call newspaper. So we're actually trying to get 1,000 Final Calls behind the prison wall so we can get the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as exemplified and taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan behind bars. To support the brothers behind bars with the Final Call newspaper, it is $18 for a 90-day subscription of 3 months, $30 for 6 months, and $60 for an entire year with the Final Call newspaper being behind bars. This is how we get our blessings. This is how you have opportunity to support an initiative that's really larger than life. So please support all endeavors. Now, for those of you that are on YouTube or Facebook, please share this podcast. Please share it with your friends. I'm telling you, we have a hot show tonight. And while you're there, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the JAKQ Brothers. Please press the subscription and press the bell. That's what I have, sir. Thank you, Brother Jackie. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, Brother Kawi. All right. Now that the appetizer has been served, time to get into this entree, the meat and potatoes. This guest that we're bringing is a very special guest. Me and this brother go back, I will say now, around about 15 years we met in Orlando. Very good brother. He has an extensive resume, extensive work history. I want to kind of give a synopsis of what he does and what he has done. He started from in 1982 to 1994 as an operations manager and program director for WPEG AM and FM in Charlotte, North Carolina. From 94 to 95, He was an artist manager for a left bank organization. He managed artists like BB and CC Winans, Tony, Stephanie Mills, Luther Vandross. Our brother left there and went to Detroit for Clear Channel, and he was a program director, overseeing programs for adults ages 18 to 34, which I think is very crucial. He did that for 3 years, and he left there and went to LA. He was a program director there for another year. He left LA, went back to Detroit, became the vice president of programs and operations, targeting the same group. And he was there for 2 years to 2001. Then he went to New York, Clear Channel, WWPR. That's not 97 FM or that station in New York, that most popular hip hop station. Is that same station? No, sir. Okay.
No,
okay,
sir.
Yeah.
That's 97. That was the station we were competing against that station.
Oh,
yes,
you was competing. Okay, you was shooting at him. Okay, yes, sir. And he left there in 05 and 07
That's right.
met you. 07 is when I met. For 3 years, he was working at WJHM, right, which is 94.5 in Orlando, a very popular station in Orlando. He left there in 2010, went to Washington, D.C., became the operation manager. I mean, they calling him from everywhere. He left Washington, D.C., back in Orlando for 5 more years.
Sir.
And then he moved to Houston, Texas, where you are present, right? You're in Houston, Texas for the urban band coordinator. Program director for iHeart Urban Band coordinator. And now you're a program director for the hip hop and R&B program. Okay, this is extensive. So let us introduce our brother, who also now, and I don't know the official title, but if it's program director for Final Call Radio, or what is the official title for Final Call Radio, but this is our brother who has put the Final Call Radio in motion. I want to introduce our brother, your brother, Brother Michael Saunders. Let's bring him on with the JAKQ Brothers round of applause. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam.
How you feel,
so good to see you, Brother Kawi, Brother Jackie, Brother Ahmed. I'm feeling wonderful. Praise be to Allah. Honored and just thrilled to be on the JAKQ Brothers podcast this evening.
Well, we thrilled to have you, brother. You're a hidden jewel in our nation. And I don't know if anybody was able to put a face with the name when the minister mentioned the name in the believers meeting. And we hope that now the people can put a face with the name. Michael Saunders. This is Michael Saunders. He is orchestrating at Final Call Radio. So Brother Michael, I want to start from the beginning, if you will. Why did you initially get into radio? Period. What attracted you to radio?
Oh man, that's a wonderful question. It really started. Didn't know I wanted to be in radio. I was 16 years old, and my mother, growing up in the South, in Chester, South Carolina, population of about 5,000 people. In the South we have that Southern diction, and my mother used to stay on me about my diction. She didn't want me to sound. She told me THs don't have a D in them. It's not this or that. It's this or that. And that made me sound a lot different from my classmates growing up. But in the 10th grade, my sophomore year in school, to take an advanced grammar and composition class. And so what ended up happening was I had to take the advanced grammar and composition class, but then radio and television was there for the second semester. And once I got into radio and television, that class, we had some radio and TV people come by the station. One of the radio guys had a conversation with me, and my instructor told me to pronounce any words that they wanted me to announce. And the brother said, well, we need some part-time people on radio, so why don't you come by and interview for a part-time position on the AM station in Chester, South Carolina. It was a station that played top 40 music during the day, white music and black R&B music at night. And they put me on, and because I didn't sound like a black man or a black person. They said, you can work during the day and we'll put you on starting on Saturdays. And so my radio career began as a sophomore in high school at 16 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
That's an interesting story, brother. I didn't even know they had radio and television in school, you know. When I got there, you barely had band. You know. So praise be to the Lord. Okay, so you're in the 10th grade. You roughly 15, 16 years old.
Yes, sir.
You're on the radio station.
Yes,
now,
sir.
They think you white, the listeners. Did your schoolmates know that you was on the radio? Did you come back and like, hey, I'm on the radio, this me, I'm doing
yes. Yeah, of course. And when I went to school, you know, the following weeks, one of my because I was playing football in high school as well. So one of my teammates said, "Why do you sound white on the radio? But when you're around us, you sound like us." I said, "Well, I can't let my mother know that, you know, I speak this dialect around y'all and do that on the radio. So I have to have this certain dialect for the radio. And I'm basically just pronouncing my words thoroughly on the radio." But he told me I sounded white. And that kind of threw me. Didn't want to sound white, but at the same time, I was getting a check for $35.06 a week. So I said, I'm rich, you know, getting $35. I've never seen that kind of money before. So I said, I don't want this to go away.
So for those who are aspiring to be in radio right now, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Was you speaking? Oh, okay. No, for those who are
no, go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. For those who are aspiring maybe to be on radio now, and maybe you got high schoolers and who's listening, or parents of a high schooler, what would you suggest, or what would you what type of advice would you give them now in their early on?
Oh, it's so much easier now because, you know, you can build a radio station as we're doing here in your home, and through podcasts and all of the technology they have today. Feel free to practice at home, make all the mistakes that you want to make in your home, and enjoy yourself. And then when you think you've gotten to the bear, you've rated some listeners, and you can show other mission that you have some listeners at a time in certain regions of the country. Take that to your local program directors and show them, because you may be an influencer through social media. You may be someone who's popular enough on your own that they will take you, pluck you out from where you are, and place you on their radio station. So it's much easier today than it was when I was coming along.
Oh man. Okay.
So they might stumble across Ahmed on this podcast and pull me out and put me on live radio, huh? Like Final Call Radio, right?
That's right.
I'm just throwing that out there.
That's exactly right.
Throwing that out there.
That'll be that's too.
Okay, so
already you never.
Okay, brother, you gotta let him.
Is he freezing, or is that
brother Michael? You coming in really choppy.
Yeah, you coming in choppy, sir.
Yeah. All right, let me.
If you have DSL, you can plug it in. But man, that's very interesting, man. At 15 years old, you start a radio career. You know,
because he didn't sound black.
Yeah, that's in
here.
That's in the 80s too. That's in the early 80s.
Right.
You know, that's in the early 80s, man. But please, guess if you're listening and if you have any questions or any concerns that you would like to get to him about the Final Call Radio or anything, please send your questions in via YouTube or via Facebook.
Oh, there we go.
We get your questions right here. All right, dear brother. It seems like you're moving a little better now. Yeah, it froze again.
I want to get to his career, man. He was a general manager everywhere he decided to work.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what yes, sir.
I mean, I mean, he's the boss of bosses, you know. And by the way, brother,
I don't know if you can hear me.
We can, but you still choppy a
come.
little bit. If you can plug in your computer, maybe that might help. I don't know.
I want to let him know that Captain Curtis gives him a shout out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
So look, brothers and sisters, while we're waiting on our guests to come back, we just want to reiterate that we are driving for the final call to go into prisons. We need your help. Every week we're asking, I mean, just sponsor. You're sponsoring someone. I remember back in the days, they used to come and ask you to sponsor an African, and we never knew where that money went. You remember that? They say they just show you somebody, and they show you that he's hungry, and then next thing you know, they ask you for, we want you to sponsor feed an African. But now we're asking you to sponsor our brother, and you can check behind us and see if we sent it. You can check, you can verify if we're sending your money where we're asking you. So we're asking you to donate towards this initiative. We want to get the final call in the prisons. All right, brother, you're back. Okay.
I think so. Praise be to Allah.
All right, now, while you're there, it seems that you became a program director while you was on your first job. Is that true?
Well, not that first job. That job took me, I worked there for a couple of years till I was 18. And the gentleman who trained me, this brother Earl Moore out of Chester, South Carolina, drove me to Charlotte, North Carolina to interview for the overnight job in Charlotte, North Carolina at their radio station. And they were excited because I was young. I was 18 and I was willing to do overnights, the graveyard shift. No one wanted to do that job. And here I was basically 2 months out of high school, and I planned to go to college, and I enrolled at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. And I said, this would be perfect because during the day I can go to college and go to school, and, you know, overnights I could work. Well, as it would have it, I was working overnights, and after I got off at 6 in the morning, I was too tired. I had to go home and lay down and go to sleep. So I said, forget college. I don't want to do this because I'm already in a school, so to speak, because I'm having this on-the-job training. So I did that for a year, and then at 19, they moved me to afternoon drive. And that's when I think my career kind of sort of accelerated because I got a chance to see the business part of radio, sales component, the marketing, the promotions, the general manager, the engineers, the sales managers, programmers, and being there from 3 to 7 every day, I got to see so much of the functions of radio, which was incredible for me. And I fell deeper in love with that medium from that perspective, because I didn't know so much about radio until I saw it from that angle. So from 19 to about 22 years old, I was doing that. I started mixing, DJing in clubs. And I knew the music because I was playing the music in the club. So I was watching people, what they were dancing to. So I knew the popular music. That made the general manager want to be the program director because I knew what music and songs were hot. So they made me a programmer at 22. Had no clue what I was doing. Didn't know how to manage people. Didn't know anything about people. And fortunately for me, at about 24 years old, a young man, he was about 40 years old. He was a black man, owned the radio station. He bought the station and came in, and he had an incredible record for radio broadcasting success. And he took me under his wing. He was my mentor, gave me the proper books to read, how to influence people, how to reward your employees, how to manage people. So many books, taught me about sales, customer needs analysis. He was just a tremendous person in my career, and introduced me to research. Quite frankly, research in radio it's crucial. You need to know exactly what the people think of your station, what they like, what they dislike, and once you have that information, you avoid things they don't like, and make sure you do what they want to hear quite often. And that sounds simple, but the discipline it takes to do that is very, very hard because you have so many distractions on each side of you coming at you to keep you off of that. And, so I did that and continued to program that station till I was 28. And at 28 years old, I was brought to the doorstep of a man who met with God. And oh my God, my life has never, ever, ever been the same. And I'll never forget that evening when I was brought to the door of the palace in Chicago. And they told me, you got to meet this man. And I had never heard the minister speak. I didn't even know what his voice sounded like. I'd never read anything that he had written. And this was 1992. And I'm thinking, I have been throughout this country, but I've never heard this man's voice, never heard him speak. And when I walked in the palace, they searched me, and I said, well, that's different. Then they gave me some footies, and they were fresh footies to put on my feet. I said, oh man, we're taking off our shoes I've never done that before. And they escorted me to the parlor, and it was several people in there and gathered around, but I'm looking around with the white carpet, the trees in the palace, the beauty, the cleanliness. I'm studying everything. And I'm feeling like, I said, I feel like I'm in heaven, but does a black man live here? I mean, I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
And so a few more moments, the minister walks out. And I mean, he is clean, head to toe, radiant, beautiful. And I'm not going to lie, I fell in love. It was love at first sight. I never heard anything, I'm telling you, I've never heard this, but I saw him. And when I saw him, I said, this man is different than all of the other people I've ever met. And I've met celebrities, I've met recording artists, movies, everybody. But the minister, as we all know, his aura, his atmosphere is very different from everybody else's. And I just fell in love. And he looked at me and he said, you must be brother. And we embraced, and he said, come on, let's eat. And we all sat down at the table, and I'm watching everybody put their microphones in front of him and the little mic stands and little recording devices, little Walkmans. And I said, what is going on? And
she's at a press conference.
Exactly.
And this was dinner.
This is just dinner. Huh? This is just dinner. Mm-hmm. And he started talking, and I said, listen at him. And I'm looking at his everything, his features, his hands, his clothes. And I mean, he's just impeccable, brother. And I was just in awe. And I said to myself, I got to get some of this, man. I mean, he was about, I guess, almost 60 years, about 59 at that time, looking like he was straight up 25, 29 years old. And I'm like, man, what is he doing? Where's this fountain of youth? I got to find this. What is going on? Because I'm telling you, I knew nothing about the nation. Only thing I knew, I'd heard a little about Malcolm X, and that was it. And so after dinner, the minister told Mustafa, his son, he said, get brother a study guide. And he put me on study guides immediately, and I didn't even know what that meant, what it was. And I got the study guide. I went and started reading that, and I was blessed because I was able to be in his presence more than anybody would normally be in a position like mine. So I would go away, read the study guide, come back and ask him some questions about the study guide and just life. Because now I'm studying him and looking on the website. At that time, it was AOL, so I had the dial-up connection. We didn't have the Wi-Fi that we have in the speed. So, you know, you might be sitting there about 15 minutes before the page opens up on that AOL. So I'm on there for like 4 or 5 hours studying. I went from the minister, that took me to Malcolm. It took me to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which took me back to Master Fard Muhammad. And so I'm going all the way back down the line, studying and reading. So I go back to the minister, ask him some questions. And then he told me, he said, get the Bible, the Quran, and the dictionary and read. So I went back, got the dictionary, got the Quran, got the Bible, and started reading, seeing words that I thought I knew the meaning of and had no clue what those meanings were. And I would go back, ask him some more questions. And one night, I'll never forget this. It was the minister, myself, Brother Jim Brown, the great football player, and Brother Mustafa. We were standing in the middle of the palace, and I was asking the minister so many questions, brother, because I didn't know anything. And Jim Brown, I guess he got annoyed because I was talking too much. And Jim Brown said, "What do you do?" What do you do? And I said, oh man. And the minister saved me. The minister said, brothers in broadcasting. And Jim Brown said, I knew it has something to do with talking because damn, you can talk. Damn. And so the minister said,
he is somebody else's house talking.
man, I mean, he was like, man, you can talk. So the minister said, yeah, brothers in broadcasting, but what he's doing now, he won't be doing much longer. But I'm not going to get into that right now. And I was like, well, wow, that just kind of left me hanging. But I didn't challenge to ask him. I didn't think to ask, what does that mean? I just left it and went away and went and studied. And at some point, I think it was after the Million Man March in 1996, we were at the palace again, having dinner with his lieutenants, his captains, student ministers. And I told Mustafa, I said, listen, I'm ready to come into the nation right now. I said, forget this. I said, I've been reading, I've been studying for this short period of time, 4 years, I believe. I said, I'm ready. I said, I will quit my job. I'll change my name. I'll get out I'll go door to door. I'll hit the streets, sell newspapers, whatever I need to do. I'm ready. He said, well, look, my father's got a meeting tonight. I'll put you in the room and you're on your own. He said, you can tell him and go from there. I said, yes, sir. So I get there and I'm telling you, I didn't know anybody except maybe Daoud Muhammad from Detroit, who was the minister at Mosque Number 1 in Detroit at that time. He may have been the only one I knew in the room. But I mean, it was packed. The dining room table was full. There were tables around the dining room table. I mean, it was packed in there. And the minister was teaching. And I'm the only one in there that's a lost town that I knew of. And after the meeting, we're in a line to, thank the minister. And he's receiving us. And I went up to him when it was my turn. I said, brother minister, I'm ready to come into the nation. I said, I'll give up my name. You can change my name. I'll sell papers. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'm ready to come in full time. He said, brother, he said, look around. He said, you're already in the nation. He said, you can't get any deeper in the nation than where you already are. Exactly. He said, he said, if we change your name, he said, they will not allow you to get to where you're going to go in your career. He said, no, he said, you stay right where you are. He said, if you stay where you are, one day you might be in a position to help take care of the nation. But if you come into the nation would have to take care of you. So you stay where you are. And I said, yes, sir. I was a little hurt. I'm not going to lie, because I didn't know anything about writing a letter to the Savior. I did not hear about anything I just thought I would go to him and just tell him. I knew about the Shahada and all of that, but I didn't know about the letter. And he said, no, just stay where you are. And I said, yes, sir. He said, but, and I followed his instructions and have been following his instructions. And, I get, why, if you're in the nation, why aren't you X or why aren't you Muhammad? I don't know. The minute I'm following the instructions. That's all I know. He told me not to change my name. He said,
that's all you need to do, brother.
That's it.
Hey, brother Michael, man, beautiful story. Wow, man. Wow.
Praise be to Allah.
So all of this started off because your mother wanted you to pronounce words properly.
That's right.
Something?
Yes, sir.
But she just wanted you to speak well.
That's right.
From South
exactly
Carolina.
Right.
And so I mean, by the time you was 22, clearly you was a staunch veteran in the radio business at the age of 22. So
I don't know about that, but I was trying. Yes, sir.
I mean, you were 6 years in. You were 6 years in. You had paid the dues by working that night, by working the weekend, and so you had paid dues that others didn't want to pay, but you was willing to do it, and you did it happily. Yes, now, my question to you is, I know with the radio world, and we're going to get back to the latter part of the story. I just don't want to miss this part. You had to deal with celebrities at some point, I guess, and you was a young guy, so you had the big celebrities come in to the radio station to get interviewed. How did you handle that, dealing with the personalities at the time, not the celebrities at the time, as a young man? I mean, did you get the respect early on that you felt that you should have got, but or did they disrespect or because you was young and how was that going in the early going?
No, sir. I think the only, it was never any disrespect. The only issue that came up was we had an owner, a white man, who did not like that his program director was not 25 years old. They were used to veteran program directors had to be at least 30 years old, and here he buys a station, and his program director is only 22, 23 years old. And he made that a point to let them know that he didn't care for that. So I heard that he said that, and I went to my general manager and I said, look, I know, you know, y'all are not thrilled that I don't have experience as a programmer. I said, but I'm willing to step down and become the music director, which is the next level below a program director. You can hire a program director and I will submit myself to him or her and learn from him or her. And when it's time, I'll go away and program another station, or they will go away and I'll take the position back if that's okay with you. He said, so you don't have a problem stepping down? I said, no. I said, I'm young, I'm 22. I want to learn so I can be good at what I do. And so they hired a young man from New York, brought him into Charlotte, and he was the worst manager a person could have. I mean, if you want to pick, I could not, if somebody told me to pick the worst manager, I could not have done a better job than picking this brother, man. I mean, he was something, but I thank Allah for him because he taught me how not to treat people.
What not to do. He taught you what not
and he
to
taught
do.
me how to do. I mean, he was one of the most influential teachers in my career. And he was bad. I mean, it was rough, but he lasted 10 months. I mean, I could almost count the days and hours and minutes how long he stayed there. He lasted for 10 months and they fired him and they asked me to go back in the position. And at that point, I realized I knew more than what I thought I knew. My confidence had accelerated because I watched him make so many mistakes and not handle people properly. And so when I went back in with a renewed spirit and a renewed energy to be a leader and a manager of my staff. And quite frankly, you know, you talk about I was a veteran at 6 years, but really I was so young. I equate it to a child's age. If my experience was 6 years, I would have been going to first grade. And so I had, it was only really after I met the minister that I thought that I was a better manager, because learning from him and the believers, the student ministers, I applied the Jesus principle to my management style in radio. And my staff has not been treated. Most people's staffs are abused and treated harshly, but when you treat people, I think the way Jesus was handling people, that Jesus 2,000 years ago, we know we got a Jesus, a modern day Jesus today. And watching the minister and how he handles people, that helped me with my career, because I've heard some things and seen some things, and I would sit there and say, I wonder how the minister's gonna handle this. And he would, and I'm sure y'all have heard the story where we were in Chicago. I was at the dinner when The Wiz did the play in Chicago, and the minister invited all the cast members over to the palace to have dinner. And I think the brother who played The Wiz offered the minister an urn with his lover's ashes in it, because the brother who played The Wiz was gay. And I think his mate, or his partner, passed away, and he offered the minister the ashes, the urn with the ashes in it. And the minister told us that that's what the brother did. And in my mind, my immaturity, I was like, oh my God, no. And I looked at the minister. I said, well, what did you tell him, brother minister? What did you say? I'm just stupid, brother. I'm just silly, just uncouth. I said, what did you say, brother minister? And he said,
come on, man.
He said, oh, brother, he said, I accepted it. And he said, do you know why? I said, no, sir. He said, because it was a reminder of who I really am.
Wow.
And he said, I have that urn sitting on my desk right now.
Man.
And I said,
come on, man.
Praise be to Allah. I said, I got so much to learn, So much to learn.
Wow.
All right, brother
Really,
Michael.
really. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, brother Kobe. No, I'm good. Go ahead.
No, brother Mike. So you basically got schooled by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He put you in training. Is that what I heard?
That's right. That's
And you
right.
had absolutely no knowledge of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
None.
So at
Zero.
what point did you realize? I know you was wild bound. I know you was wild by his presence and Black Man in the Palace and all these certain. When did you realize though who you was actually, able to talk to every day? When did you realize who he really was?
That's a wonderful question. Beautiful question. I think when I met him in 92, it took me to, I think, probably leading up to the Million Man March. And I was in Detroit at that time, and we started promoting the Million Man March and going to DC. But obviously, in the meantime, the minister was on that all men's tour, I believe, leading up to that. So I'm starting to hear how he's affecting America, and the rappers, the hip hop, the artists, the R&B artists, the record companies, the managers, everybody is talking about him. And that's, I think, when I started thinking about who he is, not just a leader, but now he's something more dynamic than that. And then as I started reading and understanding the Bible even more, I saw the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I saw, the minister and then Master Fard Muhammad, and then going to the Quran and seeing them there. That's when it took on a whole new dynamic for me, because I said, no. This is something I did. I ran into something I was not expecting. We think about Black leaders and, so on and so, but I never thought I would see us in the book. Never thought I'd see us in the book.
That's deep.
That is deep. Yeah, brother Michael, I didn't want to interrupt you when you were telling the story, because I didn't want you to forget anything that maybe you was gonna say. So, but you did go ahead, because I wanted to go back from when you left Carolina, you went to LA.
Yes, sir.
And that's a whole different market now. Now it's a different culture. How was that adjustment going on, with you in LA?
Well, when I left Charlotte, I went out to Los Angeles because a Jewish guy offered me a job to manage artists, because he told me, he said, I'm having problems getting Tony to release the right single for their next single. And he called me and he said, will you have a conversation with who is now Raphael Sadiq, but at that time he was Ray Wiggins. He said, will you have a conversation with Ray and convince him to go with another single? He wants to go with My Ex-Girlfriend Is a Hoe. And I was like, oh, no.
Ray.
I said the single should be Anniversary, because everybody has an anniversary, but everybody doesn't have an ex-girlfriend, certainly not that was a hoe. I said, we all have an anniversary of some sort. So Raphael called me and we had a conversation. I said, your next single should be Anniversary. And I told him why. And he said, well, that's it. I said, you're going to do it? He said, yeah, I'm going to release it. He said, Alan Kovac told me you're the man. And so he told me that, talk to you. And so that's what it is. I'm going to go with Anniversary. So Alan Kovac called me later that week and offered me a job to come out there to manage artists. And at that time, he had Luther Vandross, Tony, BB and CeCe Winans. He had some white artists, the Bee Gees, Duran Duran, the Cranberries, Clint Black. And my day-to-day were BB and CeCe Winans. And so I had to deal with that and with them, because they were, trying to manage. That was another job I probably should have never taken, or a job I should have never taken, because managing artists, that's one big babysitting job that I do not care to do ever again, or at least not for artists. Somebody calls you at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, "I lost my sunglasses. Can you retrieve them for me?" Listen,
Wow. Yes.
I don't know. He said, "Yeah." So I don't envy anybody who's managing recording artists today. That's a tough job. But I did
Wow.
that job for. I worked there for 8 months, and then I got a call to go back to radio and program the legendary radio station WJOV, which is now about 80 years old, I think, and has been doing exceptionally well in Detroit.
In Detroit, right?
And
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. And being at mosque number 1, I got an opportunity to be in that city and go to the mosque almost every Sunday and be around the believers, and it was just a beautiful experience. Brother Dawood and I used to ride around in the car together. He was teaching me in the car one-on-one. We'd go to dinner, and he would teach there, and we'd have beautiful conversations. And obviously, he was teaching from the rostrum and teaching me on the phone, teaching me in the car, putting me on studies and things like that. So it was just wonderful, wonderful time. Beautiful, beautiful brother.
Wow.
All right. So I want to get back to your story, man. I'm still stuck on the story.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Sorry, man.
Keep going. Go ahead, brother.
So he's preparing you
Yes, sir.
for your assignment. Now, do you feel that you have figured out why he didn't give your name, what he was prepping you for? I'll tell you what. Let's talk about the Final Call Radio. What was the inspiration behind the Final Call Radio? Let's start there.
Well, it's funny. We have to go back to the beginning of 1992, because when I first laid eyes on him and started learning about him and going back to his home or his table or whatever city he was in, his hotel suite. At some point in 93,
you've eaten dinner with the
94,
minister many times. Many times.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, yes.
So I was trying to figure out, how can I help him? Because he was going city to city, going in and out of the country. I said, I want to help him do what he's doing. I said, he's got so many beautiful student ministers, and he doesn't. I don't see myself as a minister or student minister, but I want to help him. I don't know how to help him. So I started praying to Allah to give me a double dose of the spirit of help and assistance, as well as the double dose of the spirit of Muhammad and Jesus, to be patient, to be humble, to be intelligent enough to recognize when something comes my way that is help, whether I know it or not. And one day it kind of hit me. I said, I need to buy a radio station so we can put the nation on the radio. So I looked at my bank account, and it was nowhere close to being able to buy a radio station. So I said, well, I've got to keep looking and keep going. And at this time, I'm telling you, it was just AOL for me, the dial-up. So this technology was not here. But I kept thinking about it, all about continuing to study. And then one day, I had a dream, and Master Fard Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad were at the foot of my bed, and they were facing east. And it crystallized for me when I woke up from that dream of what I needed to do for myself to support myself and get away from radio. And sure as Allah would have it, the minister came to Detroit, and he was promoting the Million Family March. So it was around 99, or maybe even leading into the early part of 2000. But he was promoting the Million Family March, and we brought the minister to the station because he wanted to record some commercials to run on TV One or Radio One. And I introduced him to some of the people in the station, some of the white, we had a white client in the station. We had some sales managers in there, and all of the staff just fell in love. I mean, and such a peace came over the station. And when the minister left, somebody came up to me, a black brother. He said, what the hell is wrong with you bringing Farrakhan to the station, man? Have you lost your mind? I said, I said, no. I said, do you feel? I said, do you feel the peace that's in this radio station right now? I said, we haven't even. Nobody has argued. Nobody is excited. I said, feel the peace. That's a man of God. That's God's man on the scene in our radio station. You've never had that in here before. We've never had that. I said, feel this. He said, man, you should have never brought him in here. So lo and behold, a few months later, they fired me. It was July 16th, 2000. Yes, sir. They fired me at the station. They brought a brother in and said, look, we don't like what you're doing here. We want to do something else. We no longer need it. Wow. So I left. But because of that dream, I was able to start a website where I was able to generate money from the record industry and sell commercial ads on that on that website, which was basically just putting up stories of things that was happening. It was like a news website. So because I got fired, that station's ratings went down drastically. And then that same company, Clear Channel, called me to go and launch the New York radio station. And that's how I got to New York, Brother Jackie. And again, I was so excited to be in New York in Mosque number 7. Student Minister Abdul Hafiz Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him.
Allah be pleased.
He was another brother that we used to go to dinner. We used to meet. He came out, spent the night with me and my wife, he and his wife, when I was living in Jersey. Had a beautiful time. But in New York, we put on, I think it was Black History Month. We had a commercial on celebrating Master Fard Muhammad's birth anniversary. February 26, 1877, instead a black man was born and went to Black Bottom, Detroit, July 1930, started the Nation of Islam. That's the way we kind of positioned it on the air. And so the believers were supercharged because you're in New York City hearing, you know, Master Fard Muhammad's name on the radio in 2002, 2004, 2005. And the minister would come to New York and we put him on the radio, let him talk about where he was going to be and promote that. And then one day I walked in my office, and I still have this picture. I have to share it with you all. I should have sent it to you so you should put it up. But I walked in my office one morning, and we're on the 18th floor between 43rd and 44th Street on 6th Avenue, and there's a noose hanging out my window.
Wow.
Wow.
And I took a picture of it. I had someone take a picture, send it to my wife because I had no idea what was about to happen.
In New York.
In New York in 2005. And then the next day, the noose stayed there all day. And we looked at it. We were trying to figure out if it was really a noose. And everybody I showed it to said, absolutely, that's a noose. So a few weeks later, I was under investigation for taking, what did they say? For taking something illegal like a television or component set. And I proved to them that I did not take it. It was for giveaways on the air. I showed them the letter that my assistant wrote. And they said, okay, fine. And they kept digging. They kept looking for something else. And a record company paid for a hotel when Dawood came to New York to visit me and my wife. And he and his wife, they stayed at a hotel. The record company paid for it. And they fired me supposedly for that. And I said, well, here we go again. And I said, fine, Allah is God and he has full authority over everything. And if this is what it is, this is what it is. I trust in Allah. And I kept going. So I was out of work for 18 months. Then one night, Brother Kawi, I had a dream that I was in line with the soldiers, with the FOI. All had on black suits, white shirts, and bow ties. And in this line, leading towards the front of the line were these a grand staircase going up. But off to the right was like a reception area with some information or buttons or some kind of keyboard or board behind that reception desk. But I'm in the line going up the staircase. And when it's my turn to go up the staircase, I'm walking up and I get to the top. To the left of me is a room that's dark. with the door ajar. And to the right, there's a room with the door, but there's light coming from up under the door and from the cracks of the door, the seal. And I said, well, I'm going to take the door to the right because it has light coming out of there. I want to be with the light. I'm not stupid. So I opened the door, and there sitting the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And they're sitting in a chair, but the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is leaning into the minister, and the minister has his arms around him, holding him. And he has his fingers right here at his nostril. And I can see the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's chest expand and retract, letting me know that he's alive and he's breathing. And the minister looks at me in the dream and he says, we feel you, brother. He said, you're doing fine, but it's not time. He said, go back. He said, but it's not time. He said, but we feel you. And I went back and I went behind that reception desk and I sat down, and there were all these buttons and knobs and lights, things I didn't know how to operate. I didn't know what it was. So fast forward to 2015, the minister is speaking, getting ready for justice or else. And now I'm holding on to this dream since 2005, and I've shared it with some brothers in the nation. And no one says anything about what the dream means to them. But for 10 years, I'm holding this dream, waiting for my opportunity to tell the minister. And there were times when I was with the minister, either I forgot to tell him or the time did not present itself to tell him. But in 2015 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, when he was speaking in Miami, I went up to him and I kneeled down and I told him about Final Call Radio. And he said, yes, brother. He said, Final Call Radio, Final Call News. Final Call Radio, Final Call News. And I told him all of my ideas about it. And he said, it's time. He said, it's time. It's time. And he said, it's time 3 times. And I looked at that word time, which means frequency, and then a lot of other things. But then I reversed the word. And when you reverse the word time, it becomes emit. And when you emit something, it means to send something through. So that was very, very key to me. And it kind of solidified where I'm going. So the next day, I had minister's blessing in my mind to, launch Final Call Radio. I said, I want to take it to the executive council and present it to them and get approval to do it. He said, yes. So I think that night, the minister spoke the following night or that night, I think maybe that night. But later on that night, I went to the Supreme Captain's Hotel Suite and told him about Final Call Radio. And he said, yes. He said, let's do it. And I told him about what his father said, and we were all in agreement. So I was really excited. And the next morning, Mustafa called me and said the minister wanted to see me if I had not gone back to Orlando. I said, no, I'm still in Miami. And I said, I'll be right over. So I went over to the suite. We met, we talked, and I told him about the dream. I finally had a chance to tell him about the dream. And he said, brother, he said, that means it's not time. He said, you have your work to do. And we sent you back. He said, you'll be able to come back again and see us, but not now. He said, you don't get to go. He said, but I get to go. Yes, sir. He said, but I get to go and be with my father, but not you, not yet. You have your work to do. So you go back and you do your work. And I said, but brother minister, what was that I sat behind? Was it an airplane or radio? He said, it was a radio station. He said it, so matter of fact, he said it was a radio station. He said, you go and you do your work. He said, I get to go and be with my father, but not you, not yet. He said, but you have your work to do. And I said, yes, sir. And I think he could, so when we went back in 2015, I'm excited. I put together a presentation. I put together the demo for the executive council. And I never did get the meeting. We tried, and I said, we're ready to go. And, Brother Ahmed, who handles the Minister of Information, he was like, yes, brother, come on, let's. And we could never work it out, never find the time. And I had so much time to be able to do this now. and we were never able to find the time to get the presentation to the executive council. And then one day in 2016, I think they called me to come to Houston and run their radio station here, along with some other national hip hop stations across the country, which makes my days very, very busy, because any station that has a problem with iHeart that's urban, they're going to call me and some other brothers that we're going to go and try to fix that station remotely. And but I think it was at the end of 2019, just out of the blue, Sister Wazira, who is Supreme Captain's assistant, they both called me and said, "It's time, let's get Final Call Radio up and running." And I said, "Man, this is the most busiest time ever to get this done, but I'm gonna do it. Let's get it done." So I flew out to Chicago, I think the next day or the next 2 days, and presented it to the Final Call staff, and played the demo for them, and everybody was on board. And then came back to Houston, and through Zoom, I think I did the presentation, or met with the executive council, talked to Brother Ishmael on the phone one day, and explained to him what was it was all about, and you know what we were striving to get done. And we had planned to launch it for Savior's Day 2020, but we were just not ready, and we didn't want to piecemeal it together. So we waited until I got back to Houston to really launch it. We had a soft launch on April 4th, 2020, and then we went live, made the announcement for Mosque number 2, Mosque Mariam, on April 5th. And we've been, by Allah's grace, we've been, successfully rolling ever since, so to speak. And, it's so funny, brother, when I was so excited to hear it on the air, this dream had come to reality. My thoughts had become a thing, and everybody was excited. And Mustafa called me and said, "I just talked to my dad. He said he couldn't listen. He had to turn it off." I said, "What?" I said, "He didn't like it?" He said, "No, all he heard was himself. And he didn't like that." I was like, "Oh, man." And so Mustafa said he told his dad, "Well, if the people are thirsty, they're getting that thirst quenched, so to speak. And this is what people, they love this. They're hearing it, and they really, really appreciate it." And so the minister called praise be to Allah, a few weeks later, and he said, "Oh, I understand." He said, "Brother," he said, "while I was resting, this man was working." He said, "I was resting, but the work was continuing." And he said, "I want you to take this, what is good, and make it better, and then make it great." He said, it's a baby right now." I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "I could tell that it's a nice looking baby, because everybody wants to be a part of it. And nobody, when you see, a little baby that's beautiful, everybody, let me hold it. I said, "So Final Call Radio reminds me of a baby." He said, "Yeah, the baby don't even have teeth yet. Doesn't even have hair yet." I said, "Yes, sir. We're just a few months old." And he left me with some other words of encouragement and inspiration, like he did his son. And we've been off and running. And right now, I think we are 17, 18 months, with about 1.6 million listeners in 130 countries. Yes, sir.
Hold that thought. I want to hit
Yes,
those
sir.
numbers after this commercial break.
Okay, yes, sir.
Brother Jack?
I mean, okay, well, is brother, is he ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right, praise be to Allah. Well, before we get into brother, are you going to go first with the commercial break?
No, you got it, brother.
Oh, okay, yes, sir. All right, well, look, also did another initiative the JAKQ brothers have. We are highlighting our juniors. Any of our juniors that are making headway, they are so brilliant. They're so bright. We are mentors in the junior FOI class. We thank Allah for him allowing us to be a part of that class, because those juniors are teaching us so much. I mean, we had a meeting the other day. I'm going to just share this with y'all. This is a secret, though. We had a meeting the other day. We allowed the juniors to conduct the meeting. And they came up with an idea of having a vision board party. These are 9, 10, and 11-year-olds. They want to have a vision board party. And this is what we're doing with the junior FOI. So we have one of the students of the junior FOI who has some beautiful parents, believers in the Nation of Islam here in Atlanta. We have our brother. He has his initiative, and we want him to introduce himself and introduce his initiative. Let's bring on our brother and your brother, Brother Mansour Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
How you feel, fool?
Oh, I feel alhamdulillah.
Praise Allah. Go ahead, dear brother.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mansour Njai Muhammad, and I am the proud author of children's book series Mansour and the Mysterious Will. I am also the president and founder of a 501c3 nonprofit called IQRA International INC. IQRA is Arabic for read. Our mission is to share the joy of reading with children of color around the world. Please save this date somewhere like in a funeral or something. Our first annual virtual fundraising gala, will be hosted on Saturday, December 18th, 2021. For more information about my nonprofit, please follow us on our Instagram page at TakeOnWin. If you are interested in purchasing my book, please look for Mansour and the Mysterious Will on Amazon. Thank you. Thank you for JAKQ Brothers for letting me feature my books and my 501c3 nonprofit on this show.
Well, thank you, brother, for allowing us to present you, brother. You did a wonderful job. You're doing a great work, brother. We are absolutely proud of you, and we want to definitely support our brother. So we need everybody to go to Instagram. If you have an Instagram, let's go to Mansour Muhammad's page, Take On Wings, and support. Like, share his page. Let's support. Thank you, Brother Mansour. Would you like to say anything else, sir?
Yes, sir. These are two of my books I have published recently. This one is my Mansour and the Mysterious Will. I Am Dependable, which this is a part of my book series. And this is 12 books. And this is my Mansour and the Mysterious Will, coloring an activity book. And this is $10. And this shows like word search and majors and coloring. And that's it.
Oh yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Mansour.
Peace.
So we can get those books if we go to your Instagram page. Is that correct?
No, sir.
Oh, so what do we have to do? I'm sorry. What do we have to do to order your books?
You either can go on Amazon, or if you stumble upon me in person, I can give you the book in person.
Yes, sir. I'll get mine in person.
Anyway, we can type that in because we have a viewer that's here. They can barely hear him. Anyway, we can type that up and put it on the show. The way they can get the book.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The producer is handling that. The producer is handling it. You had that information, sir. What we'll do, Brother Mansour, we're gonna give you all a call and make sure we have your information on our show. We'll put it up. We want to thank you for coming on. May Allah continue to bless you, soldier, and your family. May Allah bless you with success, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Beautiful.
No podcast is
Beautiful.
doing what we do,
Beautiful.
brother.
That's what I'm talking about. That's another initiative that the JAKQ Brothers is jumping on. So we want you to go to our brother's page on Instagram and support, and you get more information from his Instagram page if you need it. Message them or do whatever you need to do, and we're gonna do whatever we can to get more information and make sure we highlight anything that's going on with our brother. So, all right. So, did you want to, brother Kyle? You want to finish off with the announcement, sir?
Oh yes, sir. And let's please, everybody, please share the show. Please share the show. Please have the people you share the show with subscribe and hit the bell. We truly thank you for the support you have given the JAKQ Brothers. And of course, let's not forget our brothers that's behind bars. We have a prison initiative going on. Please support the brothers behind bars. We got to get the word of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in every nook and cranny.
That's right.
On planet Earth. We don't want to leave not one place on this earth.
That's right.
Vacant of this word. So please support the prison initiative and support our young soldiers that's out here trying to make a kingdom on earth for themselves, even at a young age. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. So we back. Now we at the Final Call Radio. Okay. It's up and running. It's a baby. It's a beautiful baby. It's crawling around. Got to get it some milk.
But Jack, let me ask him this real quick before you jump into that. Now that you found your niche in spreading the word, why is radio important? Why is radio important?
Radio is important because it's a beautiful question, because radio can go where you go. You're now with this little device, the phone, which, as we know, everybody's face is in this phone, and it is mobile now. And everybody would tell us that, the days of radio are gone. It's not radio is gone. It's the content that's on radio that's the problem. Our people are tired of, kill, bang, bang, promoting women in a degraded way. We're tired of all of that. But radio is nothing wrong with radio. It was just the content that we provide. So the benefit and the importance of radio is that it travels. It travels very well. You can listen to radio while you drive your vehicle, but you can't watch television. You can't watch videos, or you shouldn't watch television or videos, but you can listen to the radio while you're driving. And I hear so many people tell me while they're on their jobs, they can put their earphones in, their AirPods, their earbuds, and listen to the radio or what's coming over their phone. So those are some of the benefits of radio. And this is, quite frankly, in wartime, this is how you disseminate information to the people. In case there's critical information that needs to be sent out to the people, what better way to do it than through radio? It travels on air, travels now through the streaming services, and radio is a powerful vehicle. We've seen research that shows television is on decline, but radio is still at the level it was in 1972, and that's even with teenagers as well as adults.
Wow. So with radio, when you say we don't like the content, if you listen to certain stations play the same music back to back. What is that is that a strategy? Is that
Yes, sir.
Do we have to do that? Why is that done like that?
Well, we found that the mother of learning is repetition. And so when something is trying to be sewn into you, be branded into you, the impression is made upon the brain to get this into our minds. And so there is a satanic force that's behind our record industry, as we know. And I think Dr. Wesley does a brilliant job in explaining where that comes from. When you see someone like Leor Cohen, when you see someone like Julie Greenwald, who is responsible. Well, Leor is responsible for several artists, but Julie is responsible for Cardi B. There's Megan Thee Stallion and what they're doing with her and her image. Beyonce, Rihanna, and so many other beautiful female artists, and how they're handling them. You know, the minister said back in the day in the 60s, you know, they were called the Supremes, and they looked like they were the Supremes. They look, you know, fully clothed, but today there's something totally different and opposite of the Supremes. So an impression is being made on the minds of the 18 to 34-year-olds. And all I want to do is, I've been a part of that to press upon the brains of what's going on with the music, but it's at a point where it's too much for me and others. So my gift is to try to give back something that I think would be most pleasing to Allah and the people of God.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
So with the Final Call Radio, can you are you able to use it the same way as radio, being that it's streamed on the internet, or is it because it's a different format, it doesn't take on the same I don't know. I mean, you gave me big numbers. Let's talk about the numbers who's listening to Final Call Radio first of all.
Yeah. So to answer, I'm sorry, to answer the question, you can do most anything that we do in terrestrial radio. We call it terrestrial radio. When you listen to Star 94.5 or V103 in Atlanta or Hot 97.5 in Atlanta, we're just not on the air like they are. You are not going to pick it up the traditional terrestrial way in your vehicle. But if you can get it on your iPad, your computer, or your phone, especially your phone, if you hook it up to Bluetooth in your car, you're going to be able to ride around with Final Call Radio in your car. So wherever terrestrial radio goes, you know, this digital platform will go there as well. To answer that question, and we can go live if we needed to. We set up a studio, we could do all of that and do what they do on terrestrial.
So what about the revenue? Are you able to because I know Hot 97 and all those major hubs have a big revenue. Are you able to get anywhere near that with Final Call?
I don't think we're able to get there yet, but by Allah's grace, we most certainly will. I see it coming. Quite frankly, I'm surprised now we are where we are. And it seems like every week or every other day, we're receiving an inquiry about advertising on Final Call Radio, because they can see the impact that it's having, and people sharing it and the word getting out. And right now it's just word of mouth. And what we, you know, when we make the announcements from on the webcast on Sunday mornings, but there's another phase to this, inshallah. And that next phase is what we are really, really looking forward to as well. Because again, we are 17, 18 months old. You look at that from a child's perspective or a toddler's perspective. You know, we're just, I guess, about to start walking, or we've already just started walking. We're kind of stumbling around,
man.
right?
You teething.
Right.
You still got your soft spot in the middle of here, right? Yeah, yes, sir.
Exactly.
So
as businesses, we have a responsibility now to support by getting advertisements on the program.
Yes, sir. And they've been doing it. I mean, we have a trucking company, we have a transportation company, we have numerous manufacturing companies, a couple of those. We have some social platforms, and received a call this afternoon of another one, technical company that wants to come on and talk about tech, and also investment companies and funding and things like that. But they're very, very, and you can tell by the presentation, the emails that they're sending, that they're in our nation, of course, but they have been trained in that field, and they are, I think, experts in based on what their presentations look like. And I think this is just something that's going to be very beautiful.
And will Final Call Radio ever be set up? I'm not saying to mimic those other radio stations, but like a morning show, or afternoon show, an evening show? Would it be set up in that kind of criteria?
Yes, sir. That's our goal. I mean, when it's all said and done, I wanted to reflect what my expertise is, and my expertise is I've seen the success of a morning show, midday, afternoon, night, overnight.
Yeah.
But imagine, our student ministers as the host of these shows, and
Right.
every morning you get student minister Ava every morning, or student minister Nuri, or Dr. Wesley. Brother Ishmael in afternoons, or something like that, or whoever it may be. But we want to take our finest and our best
Yes.
and showcase them in that manner. And, we want to set it up very similar to what these commercial terrestrial radio stations have done, but only from our perspective,
Right.
from the Nation of Islam's perspective. Obviously we're not going to be looking for caller number 9 and winning $1,000. We're not doing that. But we want to teach the word. Can you imagine turning on Final Call Radio and you hearing what is the circumference, what is the diameter?
Yeah.
How much is the land? How much is the water? And
Right.
the lost founds are listening to that. And I think with where we're going in this world today, they're going to be thirsty for that, because it's something they've never heard before.
But when you do that, we have some students definitely that we can bring is going to add to that. We got some students that can recite those lessons down pat.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And listen, maybe it's some of our youth that's coming up.
Right.
That are, look, I was 15 years old. I'm going to be a fan of trying to put them on the radio.
Exactly.
Because I'm living witness and proof to that. So you're 16, 17, and you want to start your radio career with Final Call Radio. We'll coach you up, get you ready, and make you a superstar on the radio. We know what to do. And you combine that with the social media arm, being an influencer, and being on Final Call Radio, it's over.
That's right.
I'm looking forward to the day riding down the street and hearing Final Call Radio blasting out of somebody's car. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, you can hear it in my car definitely through the Bluetooth.
So you help? Do you help businesses create commercials, radio commercials?
Yes, sir. So for Final Call Radio, we will produce the commercial for you. We'll write the copy. We have someone who will produce it, record it, male or female voice. I mean, there's so many different things that we could do. If you wanted to record the commercial yourself, that's easy for us as well. No extra charge for if we write it and produce it. We're just honored that you think enough of us to support Final Call Radio and make a donation to our Nation of Islam. We really appreciate that. So we do it out. Listen, I think at some point, we'll be able to make these, really high-end professional commercials,
right?
And run it, and then we'll be able to figure out a way to marry a video on the app as well to run along with the commercial, maybe one day. Inshallah.
We take over the radio station one day, like Bad Boy and those other companies do.
That's right. That's right.
JAKQ Brothers Day. We take it over.
Listen, this is our radio station, brother. Yes, sir.
So before you ask the question, Brother Kawhi, I want to ask, Brother Ahmed brought up the point about commercials on the Final Call. Is that the only way to support the Final Call Radio? Is there other ways to support the Final Call Radio?
I mean, if you want to make a donation, all the donations on the finalcall.com will say donating to Final Call Radio. So you can support. You don't have to run a commercial. You can make a donation that way as well without making a commercial or creating a. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
We'll take that. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Let's get that out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brother Jackie. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Brother Kawhi.
Well, before the show, when we was going over the numbers of your viewership and where it's coming from, and I would like for the audience to just to hear how far this radio station is reaching out in terms of getting this message out in the world. If you can go over that.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. I think when we first started, I was showing you that we have the technology shows us how many people are listening, the current listenership at that particular time. What is our peak listening, and what is the oldest listener? So right now, the listener who's been listening the longest has been listening for about 6 hours, 21 minutes. And so you think about that's a pretty long time to listen for 6 hours. The newest listener has been listening for about 25 seconds. So they just came on. Right now, Lusaka, Zambia is listening, and Slaw over in the UK is listening as well, and obviously several in the United States. But right now, what is it? 8:22 on the East Coast. It's just two countries that are listening at the moment. But obviously, throughout the United States, we have the believers. And I was sharing that we're able to pull up and see how long, like Lusaka, Zambia has been listening for 1 hour, 52 minutes and 53 seconds. They're listening on an Android device. And over in London,
y'all the police, man.
Yes, sir. Wow. Exactly. It's horrible. I feel like the feds. I feel like the feds or something.
Y'all the police, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What's their name?
Yes, sir.
But in the UK, they've been listening for 38 minutes on a desktop computer.
Wow.
And I never heard of this city, but Surprise, Arizona. Have you ever heard of Surprise? I've never heard of Surprise, Arizona. Surprise, Arizona has been listening. Yeah, they've been listening for 36 minutes on an Android device.
Wow.
Can you give the top 10 cities?
Brother Jackie. Yes, sir. Let me grab that for you.
From 10 to 1.
I know. From 10 to 1. I know what this is. This is the countdown. So number 10 is Dallas Fort Worth.
Tighten up,
Number 9 is Detroit. Number 8 is Houston. Number 7 is Philly. Number 6 is DC. 5th is Los Angeles. 4th, Brother Jackie, is Orlando, Daytona Beach, Melbourne.
Look at Orlando over LA. That's what I'm talking about, brother. We put that work in Orlando.
3rd is New York. 2nd is Chicago. And
can we get a drum roll? Can we get a drum roll?
Well, you know, number 1 gonna be the Black Mecca. Definitely the believers.
Right.
The believers in Atlanta love
Atlanta
radio.
Atlanta, Georgia. Congratulations. Right. And Atlanta has been leading since the inception of this. I mean, I think I've seen Chicago take the lead on a daily, one day, but on a regular, on a monthly, 6 months, and certainly for the duration of this, it's been Atlanta with the lead, which is very, very beautiful. But the surprising ones now is Orlando. It used to be Charlotte,
come on now.
We're listening, but as of yesterday, because we have not computed the listening for today because today is not over, but as of yesterday, we were 1,690,449 listeners. So fast approaching 1.7 million listeners.
That's what I'm talking about. Good job, Final Call Radio. Good job.
Praise to Allah. Good job. And I just want to say that that's right. I do want to say that, while you're looking at me, but there are many, many, many that have been behind the scenes. And first and foremost is Allah for giving us the vision and working the vision to make this a reality. But certainly the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and giving us his blessing, and the Supreme Captain Mustafa Farrakhan, the Executive Council, Sister Wazira, Brother Abdul Rasul for the final call, Brother Kimani, Brother Brian, Brother Timothy, Brother Hassan, Brother Ahmed, Sister Starla, Brother Naba, Sister Charlene, Lil Moo, Mustafa Farrakhan Jr., Brother Johnny from NNV News. When you hear the news, the final call cover reports, that's Brother Johnny from NMV News, Brother Glenn, Brother Jonathan out of Charlotte, Brother Jackie. When you were in Orlando, Brother Jackie was one of the first people I did the demo tape, and he allowed us to use his voice for the demo. Sister Shantae, Sister Charlene, Brother BJ out of Charlotte, Brother Daniel handles most of our advertising, and even my wife helps me with inputting data on the in the system when we put the ministers' clips in here, the cities, and so on and so forth. So you may be looking at me, but it's those brothers and sisters that have really helped me and us and our nation of Islam to put on Final Call Radio. Brother Kimani and Brother Brian, they've done a phenomenal job with the app. Just been incredible things that I would have never thought of. They're just beautiful, brother. And I just thank them so much. I thank Allah for all of them.
Praise be to Allah.
And
Well,
you can
listen,
add the JAKQ Brothers to that list too.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let me write that down, right, brother. JAKQ Brothers. Thank you.
well, listen, brother Michael, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for your stories, your sacrifice, the different ups and downs that Allah definitely takes us all through, but it's all for learning and it's all for the future. So this is the time where we asking, do you have any last words you'd like to give to our audience? Let us know. I don't know, what are you planning? What are some of the things we need to look out for, or just say good night?
Well, first and foremost, I really want to thank you, Brother Ahmed, Brother Kawi, Brother Jackie, JAKQ Brothers. Y'all are doing a beautiful job. I'm so proud of you all. This is my world. When you talk about communicating to the people, I love seeing things like this. I'm so excited for you, and I'm excited for the future, because at some point when we get Final Call Radio in a studio in Chicago, which is our goals and our plan, if Allah is willing, we definitely got to have the JAKQ Brothers up there to do exactly what you said and take over and go from podcast to broadcast. And I'm looking forward to that day. But I just want to thank all of those believers who have supported Final Call Radio and open your ears, open your hearts, open your minds to receive this. And I thank you so much for supporting it. And I gather inspiration every day. This is a labor of love. I absolutely love doing this. I'm looking forward to the day where I can retire from the terrestrial radio and do Final Call Radio exclusively.
Yes, sir.
That is a dream that I cannot wait to get involved. I'm looking forward to that day, and this is all that I do, because we have many goals and aspirations, and with Allah's help, I think we're gonna be fine. I believe that wholeheartedly. He's brought us this far, and I had no idea that this was all going to work in my future like this, in our future, but here it is. And but thank you so much for having me on. It was an honor and a pleasure, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming, brother. Brother Ahmed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, I'm always excited about radio. You know, even when we were younger, before internet, and you were able to watch videos, we had the minister on radio. We had the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Mr. Farka on radio, and we were able to stop everything in the house, sit down, and listen. And it was radio that brought these magnificent, great men to us. And and I'm pretty sure in the past, when others was with Garvey and the others, just going across that stream. And even now today, you like to hear a good morning show. You like to hear the radio is relevant, and we want to support you, brother. And I pray that you put that out into the universe. I'd love to see Final Call Radio. Hey, this is what we listen to, and the family and everybody turn off the TV, get rid of all of that. We wanna focus on radio like my family used to do when we were younger. So thank you for coming on and sharing your struggle and where you're at now. Praise be to Allah. Thank you, brother.
Yes,
Praise be
sir.
to Allah.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Brother Ahmed.
Brother Kawi.
Yes, sir. And so, Brother Jack has said it right, man. We did not know how you looked. We heard the name. We was enjoying your work, but now we get to put a face with the work that you're doing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Before Final Call Radio, I would just go to YouTube and put a clip on the minister on in my son room, in my room, and we'll just go to sleep to the minister every single night. And I think one time, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, we blew a TV out. Just the tube went out, and we had I had to replace the television. But now with Final Call Radio, we don't have to play the television at night no more. We could just get our phones and plug them in and hit Final Call Radio, and we get to go to sleep and to the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And during the night when you wake up, that's the first thing you hear. You hear the minister voicing it the first thing, and it's like heaven on earth for me. And so it has helped me grow, and I love the clips y'all put on there. Brother Michael, you're doing a big job. You're doing a great job, brother. I mean, words cannot express. We can't put in words, man. How you are affecting lives and thought processes. This is a beautiful way to go to bed. It's a beautiful way to wake up to in the morning and start your day off. And when you can't find nothing on the radio that's worthy of listening to, we can always go to the Final Call Radio, and it'll get us through the day. So I look forward to your next endeavor, because if it's anything like the Final Call Radio, man, it's going to continue to save lives. And so thank you, brother, for Allah knew best way to put the message, and now we're getting the results of that. So thank you, soldier.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Very kind words. May Allah continue to bless you all and your families. I thank Allah for you all.
Yes, sir. Now let me give a testimony. What Kawi said. At first I didn't take a liking to the sound of the violin. I really didn't. And it wasn't until I would say recently, but it's been a little time, that I didn't know I suffered from anxiety. I really didn't know what it was. But when I listened to Final Call Radio, and you playing the minister's violin, when it's, I didn't, at first it sounded sad to me, but I didn't know how much it calmed me. That when you play that part of the violin, and he said to Brother Abdul Qiyam that if he can get the violin in the prisons, he can heal those in the prison. And I give a testimony to that, because it definitely heals me when I hear it playing now. I love the sound of him playing the violin now. I didn't take a liking at first. I didn't. But I mean, I really, really love it, because it calms me down. I mean, it really just tones me down. And I listen to it every day. And when it comes on, when the violin comes on, I'm hoping it's gonna last for a long time, because it just calms me down. So I thank Allah for the work. I think, like Brother Kawi said, you don't know who you're affecting, but definitely that when the violin come on, I mean, it does something to me now. I mean, it really does, and it helps me. So continue the great work, brother. Give the minister our love. Give the minister our love. Get that part, brother. Give the minister our love. Let the minister know we do love him, the JAKQ brother.
I will do that. Yes, sir.
Be to Allah, but thank you, brother. Yeah, go ahead, brother. What you was gonna say?
Thank you. Now, I was gonna say, I've heard so many of those testimonies from a brother who reached out to me and said, I'm between jobs, I'm looking for a job, and times are really tough. This was during the pandemic. And he said, but man, Final Call Radio, I heard a clip on there, and it just really inspired me and boosted my morale. I've heard, I think our student secretary, Brother Saad, say that he heard a clip and then he wondered what the clip was. He looked on his phone on the app and he was able to see what message it was. And he was able to take a screenshot of that so he can go back because he wanted to hear the full message, because he was thinking about something and that message spoke to what he was thinking about earlier that day. And so I've heard so many testimonials, and I just thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for trusting me to put his work that he's been doing for decades in our hands and choose these clips. And I don't take this lightly, brother. I mean, I want to make sure that whatever is going on in the world, you can always, either I can reach out to Brother Hassan at the Final Call in Chicago and say, Brother Hassan, do you have X, Y, and Z on the minister? This is coming up and I want to give me a clip or give me the message and let me edit that. Or he'll now just send me what's coming up, like if it's Savior's Day or the Million Man March or the Millions More movement, he will send that to me. And he's beautiful in that way. But anything that happens in the world today, you better believe you probably find the minister has already addressed it in the 80s, the 70s, the 90s, or what have you. And all we have to do is find it, edit it, put it on Final Call Radio, and let it run. The problem for me, brothers, I won't lie, when I first started this, I got caught up and forgot I was working. I got caught up in the message. And next thing you know, I was listening to the whole message and wasn't doing my job. I wasn't editing. I was just listening. I was like, oh my God. I said, I got to go to work. I've sat here for an hour and not edit anything because I've been engulfed in the message. So I had to get my focus and hear it. But I love listening because I get fed while I'm putting this together and putting it up on the Final Call. But I'm so thankful to Allah, and I pray that He continues to bless us at Final Call Radio and us in our Nation of Islam and the believers, and all the work that you're doing on the podcast with the JAKQ Brothers, because I see, and as you can see in the background, there's a Rockefeller plaque, there's Pac, there's Jay-Z. I'm in a unique position because I'm in two worlds every single day. I'm with our Nation of Islam and Minister and Final Call Radio, but I'm also in this terrestrial hip hop business. And I'm in two worlds, and I see one world going up and another world going down.
Come on, man.
And while you would not believe the things that I hear in our companies where this business is not advertising anymore, they're thinking about shutting their doors because they're going out of business, or this business is suffering, and they used to be a just making tons of money from back in the day, but now they're considering closing their doors. And here comes Final Call Radio, Final Call newspaper. Here comes JAKQ Brothers. Here comes the Nation of Islam on the rise. And this other world is on its way out. And I'm telling you, to be in the throes of this, right in the middle of it, it's only Allah could do this. And I've never imagined I would be in this position of between two worlds. And I pray that Allah will keep me sane to make the right decision, to lean where I'm supposed to lean, and ultimately end up with our Nation of Islam and the righteous.
Yes, sir. Don't we all? So thank you, JAKQ Nation, for tuning in. You heard you yes, sir.
Did you want to show Mansour's? No. But Jack, did you want to show Mansour's Amazon?
You have it?
Yes,
you
sir.
have it up? Okay, yeah, sure, brother.
Okay.
This is if you want to order the coloring book. This is the title. You can look up on Amazon, and you can order the coloring book from our young soldier Mansour.
Yes, the coloring book and the regular book.
Coloring book and a regular book.
The story book.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's support our young soldier, definitely. So in the words of our great scholar, DJ Khaled, another one. We just had you.